Do you like to host parties but don't have enough friends to actually have a party? Well, if that's the case, I have the perfect game for you because today on Joker Reviews, we're going to be reviewing Bunny Party at Maple Valley. The theme behind Bunny Party at Maple Valley is really fun. You're playing one of the bunnies of Maple Valley, and the night sky party is approaching. You're trying to rush to decorate your house and be the first one to do so you get to host that party. Setup for the game is super simple. You're going to start out by dealing 2 of these character cards right here to each of the players. The players then look at them and choose which one they want to go with, but be careful. Each one has a special ability that might impact later in the game. You then shuffle the deck of house cards and place them face down. This is going to contain your decorations, your events, and your item cards. Shuffle the villager cards here and deal out 5 of the 6. Those are going to be the ones that are going to be interacting on that specific turn, in this case the first turn. You're then going to place all of these trade tokens, there's a stack of them within reach of all of the players. Deal out your little snooze tokens here. Those are going to be when you use your character's abilities. And that's basic setup. Taking a turn in Bunny Party is super simple. You are going to start out by all of the players drawing 2 cards from the stack here. And once they've drawn 2 cards, you're going to look at their hand. The only exception to this is that the first turn you get dealt out an extra card. When you draw these cards, you're also going to be given a trade token. That'll factor in later. Once you have drawn those cards, normally 2, but in the first case 3. You're then going to look at them and you are going to tidy a card. That is your first step, the tidy step. When you tidy a card, you're either going to do one of 2 things. You can either place it face down like this in the tidy pile, which is going to be next to your discard pile, which is this right here, or you can trade in a trade token and place it face down in front of another player. So you want to give that card to that other player right there. If you do that, the only difference is the trade token, but it still counts as tidying. So let's say we didn't do that in this scenario. So once every player has tidied a card right here, you then take the cards, shuffle them up so there's a random card on top, and turn them face up as the discard pile. There will be other reasons to discard cards, but they'll go on to the discard pile right then. After everyone has tidied a card and you are ready to proceed, you then will have your villagers visit. Each turn will have 5 of the 6 villagers dealt out, and they'll be the ones that you can choose from. The villager cards look like this. They will have their own special effects here. Starting with the first player and going clockwise, you will then choose your villagers to come visit you. Some of the cards in the deck will interact with the different villagers, and you can kind of get some like little strategies going on based on what villager you have visiting you at the moment. So everybody will choose their villager. Once everyone has chosen their villagers to go hang out with them for the turn, you will then play the cards that are in your hand. So let's look at this. Actually, we should be starting with first player, so let's start with first player. So, starting with the first player, they will then play their cards one at a time. So this one will play this present that allows him to draw a card. So then that would go into the hand. Ooh, we got 2 decorations here. And it will continue going around until everybody has played all their cards. Nobody can finish the turn with cards in their hand. So once these cards have all been played out, like this, so say these have all been played. We're not really doing any of the effects at the moment. We're just kind of showing the principle of playing the cards. You enter into one of the more unique mechanics of this game, and that is the trade phase. Once you enter the trade phase, the players involved can turn in their trade tokens. So say this person wanted to trade with the first player here. They both agree on a trade. They trade in their trade tokens. Go into the little stack. Let's say this is the stack of trade tokens right here. And they can then trade items. So maybe they want to trade for the present and trade for the DIY project that goes over there. So now this person's gotten the present. So once they get the present, they have to draw a card. That leads us into play cards again phase. So you would then draw a card that would go into the hand, and then that card has to be played because you can't end the turn with cards in your hand. The thing about trading is each set of players can only trade once, but a player can trade multiple times to other players. So these two that just traded can't trade again, but this player could trade with that player. Neither one of them has trade tokens, so they wouldn't be able to right now. But on a normal turn, they'd be able to trade with each other. So multiple trades can happen, just not with two of the same people multiple times. The last phase of the turn is to check whether or not the party is able to start. And how does that happen? Well, the party is only able to start when you have 5 of a specific type of decoration. So you have a lot of different cards that you can draw from the house deck. So you have item cards. These are ones that get placed down in front of you or placed down in front of other players, things like that. And they have different effects. They can be continuous, they can be immediate, depends on the card. You have event cards. These are ones that are played immediately and then discarded. You have to do whatever's on them. And you have decorations. So these are the 2 different types of decorations. You have star decorations and you have moon decorations. And they have the little arrows on them because when you play them, they'll point to specific players. And then if you happen to win, whichever player that the arrow is pointing to also wins with you as co-hosting the party with you, which is really cool. So that last phase is checking whether or not anybody meets the 5 star or 5 moon decoration requirement to start the party. If multiple players meet it on the same turn, then they happen to be tied in the amounts that they have, then the play will continue until the next turn until the condition is met and they're not tied anymore. Subsequent turns will continue exactly like that, going through the different phases and checking to see if the party starts at the end of each turn. And that's pretty much Bunny Party. Now I'm going to give you my thoughts. I'll meet you back up top. Now that you know how to play the game, let me give you my final thoughts. When it comes to Kickstarter games, a lot of them are kind of similar to that like draw a card, play a card kind of format, and Bunny Party at Maple Valley isn't much different, but it does have a couple of extra aspects that make it a little bit different, and that is like the trade mechanic and the fact that multiple people can win. I feel like you have to kind of have both of those mechanics for either of them to work, because the fact that you have trading, if only one person could win, it would incentivize people from trading. But because you can win with somebody else, unless somebody plays the Abigail card, then it kind of incentivizes you to strategically plan who you're going to trade with. In terms of the overall quality of the game, I like the artwork on it. It's simple, but I see what they were going for with it. The card quality is really good. It has the rounded edges, which I always feel are like more luxurious than the pointed edges that are just gonna bang against things and get all pushed in. I like that they include a recipe in the box. That's kind of cool. I think it's a fun little thing that makes it very family friendly. In terms of being friendly, it's also table friendly and shelf friendly and budget friendly at only about $15. It's easy to clean up and easy to set up, which is always a big plus in my book. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff to like about Bunny Party. The only real criticism I have about the gameplay is maybe it's not a particularly complex game, but it's also not promising that it's going to be. And I am not a big fan of the villager aspect of it, like the fact that they come and visit you. I can see why thematically it works, but a lot of their abilities aren't particularly useful. And the ones that are useful are significantly better than the other ones, which kind of makes it where you end up just drawing the ones that are there and not really using the abilities all that much. But if that's my only complaint about the game, then that's a pretty good job that they've done here. So that's Bunny Party at Maple Valley. If you like what you saw here today, please hit that like button. Leave a comment down below. What Kickstarter games have you gotten recently? I know I ask that question a lot, but I always like to know what's out there and what people are actually getting. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you know what's up, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.